When I first started homeschooling, I made a lot of mistakes, and there are a lot of things I wish I'd known before I started homeschooling. So today's video, I'm gonna share all of those things right now. Hey friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Before we start, I just wanted to remind you to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. That helps me so much and I would so appreciate it. Now, today is exciting. I'm going to be sharing with you guys the things that I wish I'd known before I started homeschooling, maybe some things that I wish someone would have told me, maybe someone did tell me but I just wasn't listening. But here's what you need to know before you get started homeschooling. Number one, you don't have to duplicate a public school environment or a Christian school environment or whatever school your child was in before you started homeschooling. You don't have to duplicate that. Your homeschool environment can be whatever you want it to be, and it doesn't have to look like a public school. It doesn't have to have a table and chairs with all of these sensory activities and games and toys and books. It literally can be your dining room table with a few chairs and a pencil, and that is it. You don't have to have all these tools and gadgets and things, okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. That is something that I really thought I needed when I first started, and y'all, I had all the things. Like I used our dining room, but I also like made all of these like bins, like sensory bins, and like stations where they could do them at, and I had just all of these things that really we didn't end up using very much anyways, and I kind of wish someone would have just said, just keep it simple, especially your first year, just go simple. And I feel like my sister probably told me that and I just didn't listen. But I wish I kind of would have started more simpler with less things, and it would have made me a lot less stressed. And that kind of leads me into number two, which is you don't need a homeschool room to homeschool. A lot of people think they need a dedicated room specifically for homeschool where they keep all of their things and all their books. And you really don't have to have that. My first year homeschooling, we did it on our dining room table. And then my second year, we did it on a dining room table while we were remodeling our entire house. So in total chaos. And it wasn't until this last year and a half really that we had like an actual schoolroom, and it's actually doubles as our playroom too. But you really don't need that. It's nice to have, especially if you have a lot of homeschool things and you want to have a place for storage. But if you just have some kind of closet in your house that you can clear out maybe one shelf, that really will do it. Or you can get one of those rolling carts. I'll link one below for y'all that I love, and you could just kind of roll that around your house wherever you want to do school. When I had my fourth child and I was nursing and things were really crazy and I was postpartum, we did a lot of school sitting right here on this bed. We did a lot of school outside. We did it just in the chaos of remodeling, just wherever we could fit it in. We went to the park, we went to different places, we did it at grandparents' houses. You can do homeschool anywhere, and that is the joy and the beauty of it, is it doesn't have to be sit at a desk all day, do this and be done at 3 o'clock, and it doesn't have to look like that. Homeschool really is just bringing it into your life, so including it in your already ongoing life, and it's a beautiful thing once you realize that. And I'm still like trying to grasp that, because I still kind of lean towards like the traditional, like we need to school this certain way, and I'm learning that it can really just blend so well into our life and it doesn't have to be its own thing. I hope that makes sense. Number three, you don't have to do exactly what the book tells you to do. Mind blown, I know. This is like, I'm still learning this. My friend the other day, like we were sitting at lunch and she is a homeschool mom, and she was like, you know, you don't have to finish the whole book. Because I told her that. I was like, well, we have to get this many days in, and if we don't get this many days in, or if we take this many breaks, we don't finish our textbook. She's like, you know, you don't have to finish the books. I was like, I guess we don't. But I'm still like learning these things. But you don't have to do exactly what the book tells you to do, and you don't have to finish it all. If you feel like your child has grasped the concepts and is going to be ready for the next year's textbooks, you don't have to do everything in the book. So there's a lot of days with Gabe's math, because he is very advanced in his math. There's a lot of days that he has totally mastered like his times tables right now. He's totally mastered them, and I still want him to practice it, but not quite as much as the book asks us to. So there are days that I just go in and I just mark off, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this. Like with his language arts, it includes a lot of art, and he is not our artist in the family. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't enjoy it. So a lot of times I will mark that out of the book. I'm like, okay, you don't really have to do your art study. And he's like so happy about it. You know your child the best. You know what they need work on. You know what they don't need work on. So it's okay to make the curriculum work for you, not you work for the curriculum. Number 4, this is probably the biggest one of all, but your homeschool doesn't have to look like someone else's homeschool. And we live in a world with so much comparison, thanks to social media and all of our electronics right now. It is a world where moms are constantly comparing themselves to others, and that is not scriptural. That is not what we should be doing. That is horrible for every aspect of our life, mental health, physical health, everything. It's terrible. So don't compare yourself to other people and their homeschool journey, because you have no idea what's going on in their life. You have no idea what got them to that point. So just don't do it. You just worry about you and your kids and what you're doing, and just keep your blinders on. Like, just stay in your lane, keep your blinders on, and just don't look to the left or to the right. Just focus on your homeschool journey, and I promise you, you're going to be so much happier and so much more successful that way. Now, it's awesome to glean ideas from other people and things like that, but you cannot be comparing yourself to other people all the time, because what it leads to is a lot of inconsistency in your homeschool. If you see that Susie over there is trying this new curriculum and it looks amazing, it looks so much fun, and your curriculum is working, but you switch over to hers because hers looked more fun. And then the next year you do the same thing with old Mary over here. You see her doing something, you're like, oh, that looks fun, let's switch to that. Then you're gonna be switching curriculums every single year, and that is not gonna be good in the long run. I really believe that consistency, especially with curriculum, is so good for our kids and so good for us, because if we're constantly having to learn a different curriculum and how that works, I feel like that's gonna be really hard and really stressful and really complicated. So, just don't compare yourself to other people. The grass is not always greener. And obviously, if something is really not working, like if your child is really not learning, then maybe that needs to be reassessed and move on to something else. But I will say, give yourself several months to be sure that it really isn't working. And also rule out other things, like make sure your child isn't having difficulty seeing or something like that isn't going on first. Number 5, it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you're someone like me and you struggle with perfectionism, please hear me on this. Homeschool doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like your friends who maybe you see on social media and she's got it all down and you're like, man, she just really seems like she's got it all together. I promise you she doesn't. I promise you she still has bad days with her kids. And just remember that you are doing the best that you can. God is going to give you the grace to do everything you need to get done with those kids. And if you will just be in constant communication with Him, be meditating on His Word, then He is going to give you the wisdom that you need to do your homeschool every single day. And He's not going to make it perfect every day. When we became Christians, it didn't come with a pass for life where everything's gonna go perfect for us. It's just not, guys. Our kids are gonna have really bad days where they pitch fits and they're angry and they have attitudes. We're gonna have bad days where we pitch fits and we have attitudes. That's just life. That's just part of it. The joy of it, though, is that our kids see that mom is not perfect and that mom has a sinner's heart inside of her too, and mom needs to apologize for things, and that's how they learn character development, and that's also how we develop such good, close relationships with them, is going through those trials as a family. So just know that homeschool is not going to be perfect, but that doesn't mean you give up, okay? You just keep going. You just keep swimming, okay? I promise you, you're going to see the fruit. I promise you, you're going to be so glad you did it. You just got to stick with it, stay consistent, and give yourself grace. Number 6, don't rush. This is still something I'm working on, guys, but just don't be in a rush to get it done every single day. Like, we gotta get this done, we gotta get this done. That was me the last two and a half years. The last few months, I really tried to stop saying that to my kids, stop always saying, hurry up, we need to finish, because I really want them to number one, not feel like they have to rush through their school, because they won't give it their all that way. And also just to feel like peace and feel relaxed. And if we're constantly on them, like rushing them through everything, they're not gonna feel that. And I feel like that is very, very important, because for us right now, we're really trying to develop like a slow lifestyle in our kids and like peace in our home. And I feel like that all starts with the words that we use. So for me, lately, I've really been trying to not like rush through life, rush through homeschool, rush through our day, and just enjoy the sweet moments that happen. If there's something that they're super into that maybe I just mentioned once as we were talking about history, and they're like, oh, Mom, that's really cool. Can you tell me more about that? Then I can be like, yeah, I can. Let me go get another book about it. And we can go down a whole rabbit hole if we want to, learning something that we really are interested in and want to learn about. That is the beauty of homeschool. So don't rush it. Enjoy it. Soak it in. There are going to be days where you do need to get it done quickly because maybe you have a commitment or something that you need to do or get to, and that is okay. But for the most part, let them enjoy just being in their homeschool and not feeling like they're constantly being rushed through everything. Number 7, and I kind of already said this, but just start small. You don't have to do it all at once. I started at the beginning and I'm like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Y'all, I had the longest list of all the things we're gonna do because I had watched all the videos, read all the blogs, and I'm like, we have to do everything. And you really don't, and it's really better, especially when you're just starting out, that you don't try to do it all, because it gets very stressful, very, very overwhelming. And then when you can't fit it in all in, and you probably won't be able to, then you feel like a failure. And that is never good for a homeschool mom to feel. So just give yourself grace in the beginning. Start with a really small list, whether it be like a morning time list of all the read aloud books that you want to get done, or whether it be a curriculum list. Just start with a small list and do just a little. And then once you get that down, you figure out your homeschool rhythm, you figure out how well your children learn, then you can start adding things after that. My last thing I wish I would have known when I first started homeschooling is the relationships that you build and the memories that you're gonna make with your kids are worth every single minute. It's worth all the hard times, all the tears, all the nights you go to bed thinking, did I do enough? Am I enough for these kids? I promise you, you are gonna be so glad you did it, guys, because that has been my sweetest, most biggest reward from homeschooling, is that I have been able to make the most amazing memories with my kids, and our relationships have grown exponentially, and I would not trade those things for the world. And I know that if my kids were in a public school or a private school, I wouldn't have been able to make those memories with them, and I wouldn't have the relationship with them that I do today. So just hold on to that, especially on the really hard days. Just know that you are building some really sweet memories with your kids and some amazing relationships with your kids, and it's all gonna pay off one day, and you just gotta take it day by day by day. You can do this, mama. God has given you the ability, and He will give you the wisdom you need to get through every single day of homeschooling, even on the hard days. So I hope that it was an encouragement to you. I hope that was a blessing to you. And I hope that you will join me for my next video. Be sure that you like and subscribe before you leave. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you soon.